everybody, it's Patty. Welcome back to my channel. Back on May 1st, I posted a quick little video called Questions and Answers, and I've received a lot of great questions from you guys. So I have my trusty computer in front of me, and I'm going to run through real quick and just read the questions. I've tried not to read any of them, so I will do the best I can with reading them and answering the best way I can. So the first one here was from a week ago, and it's from Susie Clancy. And Susie says, OMG, to live in a place like that would be paradise framed. I would like to know when you moved there and how it came to be. Love you, Patty. Susie, I moved to this part of Arkansas almost 3 years ago, actually 3 years ago exactly. I'm celebrating my third wedding anniversary the end of May. So almost 3 years ago exactly, I moved to this part of Arkansas, and it was to marry the man of my dreams. Let's see, there's some that are just comments, so I'm gonna, okay. All right, here is from Hello Jerry. So beautiful, Patty. Nature is surely the best artist. We still do not have our leaves on the trees yet. Trees haven't budded yet, as it has been unusually cold. The road is gorgeous. Does it get treacherous in winter, or do you get much snow? Normally we don't get much snow up here. Normally Arkansas, period, just doesn't get much snow. But this year it's been unusual, very unusual, because we've had literally weeks on end when we were snowed in. Oh, Simply Janet. This is a good one, Janet. I am not sure if you will answer this question or not, Patty, but I will give it a go anyway. It is a bit of a more serious and introspective question. Would you rather have a beautiful face or a beautiful soul? Remember, even if you already have both, you can only choose one or the other. You live where nature and wildlife is found in its truest form. Hugs, Janet. So, would I choose a beautiful face or a beautiful soul? If you know anything about me at all, you would know I would choose a beautiful soul. Let's see. Patty, this is Miss Loretta. Patty, your drive was so beautiful. Does anyone live at the end of your street? Thanks for the ride. No. There is a little cul-de-sac right around that little curve that you saw when I pulled in the driveway, but and it's very small, and there are lots there for sale, but there's a huge drop off because we are on top of this mountain, so there's just a huge drop off right there. So it would just, I'm sure there are people who could afford to build there, but it would cost a lot of money. Okay, I cannot pronounce this. CHPRBYTHE dozen. Cheaper by the dozen. Ah, yes. Patty's so beautiful. Do you ever get lonely up there? Do you have wild animals? Do you worry about Bagel and the animals? Do you ever get any tornadoes where you live? What is the elevation? I love the sign. What is the strangest thing you have ever heard or seen on the mountains? Okay, well, don't get lonely. Yes, we have wild animals. We have a lot of deer and a lot of turkeys. Do you worry about Bagel and the animals? No, really, we don't. You know, she's pretty fast on those little short legs, so I think if she felt threatened, she could get away. And when she goes outside by herself, I always leave the back door open for her. Do you ever get any tornadoes? Yes, we do. We haven't had one since I've been here, but they've come close. What is the elevation? I don't know. I have no idea. What is the strangest thing you have ever heard or seen on the mountain? Well, I'd only been here a couple of weeks, and my husband was still in school, and I was walking through the living room and happened to glance out the front door, and there was a bear in the road, a small bear in the road going into the woods. Okay. All right, I'm scrolling down because, ooh, here's Maureen, PA 422, says, wow, Patty. No, that's not, I'm reading the one underneath her. Maureen says, I have a handsome boyfriend for Bagel. Yes, I'll have to tell Bagel. Okay. This is Cup of Coffee Mate. Hi, Patty. So peaceful on your mountain. My question is, what was your career? I assumed that you are retired from a career. Tamara. If you, those of you who have not watched probably one of my first videos, I told you a lot about myself, and I was a stewardess back when we were stewardesses for Delta Airlines for many, many years. And then I worked for really major Fortune 500 companies after that. I worked for Coca-Cola USA and a couple of others. And the last company I worked for was a Fortune 200 company, and it was, I worked for them for 26 years before I retired, and I've just chosen not to say who that was. So 26 years with them, but they were a Fortune 200 company. From Laura Softheart, what is your skin type and what products do you use on it? In your videos, your skin always looks so moist and dewy, so I was just wondering. I am normal to dry, and I have been using for the past year or so a L'Oreal cleansing conditioner. I'm looking over here. It's a cleanser to cleanse my face with my Clarisonic, and I've been using my homemade vitamin C serum and the Rock Retinol products. I was approached by a company about 4 or 5 weeks ago. It's a new skincare company, to see if I would be interested in receiving their product line to try and then to do a review on it. So I'm in the middle of that process right now, and probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks I will have a video up with a review telling you the name of the product and how I feel about it. Catherine Rossi, I think it is so sweet and romantic that you and your husband found each other a little later in life. What made you know he was the one? You know, Catherine, it's hard to say because I've dated some really wonderful men in my lifetime. I can see in my mirror, see if that helps. I have dated some really wonderful men in my lifetime, and I'm going to do a video on this one day. Reasons why I did not remarry and was single for the 30 plus years. I'm going to do a video on that and it really explained why I waited. I was very, very happy being single. I had lovely friends. I had the best friends. I had worked my butt off my whole life and been able to save a little bit and put money back, and worked for a company for 26 years that had a really good pension plan, so, and 401k. So I knew that financially I would be okay for the rest of my life, and I was at a good place with in my heart and my soul, that I knew that if I needed to be by myself for the rest of my life, I would be just fine. I was okay. So when he came into my life, I pretty much knew immediately that he was the one. And as I got to know him over that following year, it became more and more apparent. And I don't know that it was any one thing. It was just it was a knowing that I had never experienced before with any other man. Rocket Pal 1, I am new to your channel. I was wondering where you live. It is beautiful. Thanks, Maria. I live in Arkansas, in the northern part of Arkansas. I've been here for 3 years. And before that, I lived in the Little Rock area. And before that, I'm actually from Memphis. Okay, this one about the snow I've already answered. Okay. I've shared skincare. I'm just sort of glancing over these. Patty, oh, this is from Scaredy, Skierty2. Patty, what a gorgeous drive. Love the up and down to your property. So serene. Know you guys have 2 slices of heaven, one there and one in Florida. Love your dog. She is too cute. I was wondering how you keep your girlish figure. I know you exercise, but do you really watch your portion size, or are you a vegetarian? You look beautiful and keep your figure too. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend, Debbie. I am a vegetarian. I have been a vegetarian for about 15 years. And I try to move. I don't move as much as I should, but I try to do something every day. Okay, this is Hannah Chris. Gorgeous drive up to your home on the mountain. My question is, what is your daily routine like, or weekly routine if you don't follow a strictly daily routine? What are your passions and pursuits, fears, and challenges? You know, Hannah, I really don't have much of a routine. I worked my entire adult life. From the time I was 16, I'd never not work. And for many, many of those years, I was a workaholic. I worked all the time. I had many years when I worked 60, 70-hour weeks. So when I retired, and I even continued to work part-time after I retired. I didn't plan on it, but things just sort of fell in my lap. Since I've been married, I have not done much at all. My routine is real lazy, real laid back. I've always, for as long as I can remember in my adult life, I've been very involved in volunteer work. I've done different projects. I've served on different boards of nonprofits, and I've rocked babies for Arkansas Children's Hospital, and which was my favorite thing I've ever done. But moving up here, because we travel so much, it's really been hard to get into some kind of volunteer work. I think at some point we're going to be permanent in Florida, and when that happens, then I will find something to do volunteer-wise that is pretty consistent. Okay. Oh, Marissa Valdez. Patty, it looks so peaceful where you live. I think your gorgeous face reflects the beauty surrounding you. My question, Patty, would be what you did different to get through menopause. Well, you know, you're probably not going to want to hear this, but my menopause was very easy. I can remember asking my mother when I started menopause how it was for her, and she said it was a breeze. I almost didn't know what was happening. And you know what? Mine was sort of the same way. My daughter would tell you that I did. I had a little bit of a temper sometimes, and there was some moodiness definitely at times, but you know, it was not anything that really bothered me. I had a few hot flashes. That was it. Let's see. All right. This is from Brandy Vincent, and I get this question a lot, not just on this video, but hi Patty, my first question would be, who is your daughter? It is driving me and my daughter crazy. I know you won't say, but that is my burning question. I would love to hear about your life as a model, working for Delta, and when you worked as a manager or something to that effect. You mentioned in one of your videos you told all the girls to take time for themselves. I guess I would like to hear about your professional life. And lastly, any stories when you were a groupie? Bet you're sorry you asked. Thanks so much, Brandy. My daughter. I have strict instructions not to talk about my daughter. Needless to say, I'm very proud of her. This is Nicole Minio. My question would be was there any famous woman that you always looked up to for beauty inspiration or that you admired? Yes and no. I love Jane Fonda's looks. I saw Jane Fonda interviewed a while back by, I think it was Katie Couric, and Jane said that she had a facelift, but she was very careful when she had her facelift. She told her doctor that she wanted to make sure he left her crow's feet, her laugh lines, because she felt like that really talked about who she was, that she had lived. And I thought that was pretty neat. Usually when we have procedures like that, we want nothing. We want perfectly smooth skin. I know a lot of people like Jane, a lot of people don't like her, and I'm not saying anything about any of that, but I truly respect how she feels about cosmetic surgery. Diane Keaton, just, you know, a lot of women of that era. Let's see. Love this video. This is Angela Armour. Love this video. We live in something very similar, very pretty and very remote. I have two questions. First, what shade do you use on your hair? And what is your favorite fragrance? And what's your favorite flower? My hair, I do my own hair. I've done it for years. When I moved up here, I found a stylist and I started going to her, and I didn't like it. I had a hair disaster with her, and I went back to doing my own. I use the cheapest frosting kit that I can find at Walmart. I think it's the Frost and Touch or something like that. It's around $6. And I bought one of those little long brushes from Sally's, and I mix that stuff and I just paint it on my roots. And that's all I do. Whatever color it turns out, that's what I get. Favorite fragrance. I'm highly sensitive to fragrance. Can't wear it, so I wish I could. Okay, I've talked about that one. Cherries, 1952. This is cute. Just love watching the beautiful scenery. The only downside I can see is probably calling for takeout. Just heaven up in the mountain. Well, needless to say, we don't call for takeout. This is from Lippy, L-I-P-H-I. Bagel is adorable. What a beautiful route to arrive home. I wanted to ask, what made you decide to marry after so many years of being single? Lois. Again, I think I answered that. It was just a gut feeling of knowing that he was the one. And I'm going to do a video on that one of these days. Okay. This is Kelly Studenheimer. Hi, Patty. My question is a little silly, but since you do a lot of car vlogging, I always wonder what kind of car you drive. You're such a classy woman, so I picture you in a Mercedes SUV. No. I drove a little two-seater. I drove the last 26 years of my career. I drove a company car that they replaced every 3 years, whether I wanted it or not. And so, but I had to drive the car that, you know, I could pick the color, and but they picked the car, so when I retired, I decided I wanted something fun. I brought a little two-seater convertible. But when I got married, my husband bought me the new Toyota Highlander, and he's sort of looking at new cars now for me. I don't know what I'll get. Marian Harris, it's beautiful where you live, but do you ever get scared or worried of being the only house in your area? You know, I get this question a lot anytime I show you anything outside. And I have never been scared. We have a security system, and there are people there's only one way up and one way down. And we have neighbors at the foot of the mountain, so that we know really well. So I feel comfortable that if anything happened, I could get to them by phone. Okay. Well, okay, Chris Gardner asked me if I work or if I'm retired. Oh, she does say, what do you do for hobbies? Some of you know I'm an artist. I piddle, and I knit, and I crochet, and I paint. Beautiful drive to your house. This is JKB052. Beautiful drive to your house. Here's my questions. How far are you from a major city? When and where did you meet your husband? How often do you go to Florida? I'm about 2.5 hours from Little Rock, and I'm about 3 hours from Springfield, Missouri, and I am 4 hours from Memphis. When and where did you meet your husband? I'll talk about that in a video. How often do you go to Florida? Up until this past, let me say this. We bought the condominium about this time last year in Florida. And we go every chance we get. My husband still teaches law at the college, so we just we go every chance we can. We are leaving. His graduation is this coming Monday. We'll leave Tuesday morning for Florida, and we'll be there until the end of July. We'll go back for sure for Thanksgiving and probably spend the Christmas holidays there. What state do you live in? It's beautiful. Arkansas. Oh, here is Kate Bernadette Benedict. She's some nice things. And then she says, I have a city woman's question. How buggy does it get there in full summer? Not too bad. Not too bad at all. What does your channel name mean? Well, I sort of explained about my daughter earlier. And I've always been known by her friends as Rockstar's mom. That's, that sort of is that. I'm trying to see here. Okay, this is getting long, so. All right. Okay. I think what I'll do is I'm going to cut this video off, and then I'm going to answer this question. Stacy at Sunnyside Makeup, what a gorgeous and green area you live in. I would like to know what is the best decision you have ever made in your life so far, that you have made in your life so far. Oh, that's a tough one. I was the oldest of 4 children, and I pretty much always knew that I did not want children. I did not get married until I was 26. I was flying, having the time of my life, and I met my husband on a blind date, and we dated for about a year. And one of the reasons I think that we hit it off is because he did not want children either. So we had a life of fun. We were always on the go. I was flying. We could fly free anywhere we wanted to go. I would come in off of a trip and have 3 or 4 days off, and he would meet me at the airport with bags packed, and we'd be on our way someplace fun. So this went on for years. My parents had no grandchildren at that point, and they were wanting a grandchild. All of our friends who were married were having children. And so we talked about it, and we decided we would have 1 child. I got pregnant almost immediately. I carried the baby for 10 months, and it was a little girl, and she died right after birth. My doctor told my husband, that if he thought he wanted children, he might want to get me pregnant quick. Otherwise, he thought that if I waited any length of time at all, that I would change my mind again and not have children. So I got pregnant pretty fast after that, and had my daughter, perfect, and she was perfectly healthy. And I guess that's probably the best decision I ever made. I have a wonderful relationship with her. I will say that when her dad and I separated and divorced, one of the reasons I waited so long to get married was because of her. I had friends who had children, who were married and had children by previous husbands. And the children always seemed to be affected by it, especially when there were other children in the family, either his children or if their mother and new stepfather had children. It just wasn't the same for them. And I made the decision that I did not want my daughter to go through that. I decided pretty much then that I was going to stay single until she was at least out of school. And then if I wanted a relationship and to get married, because I had relationships during that time frame, but I decided if I wanted to get married again, that would be the time to do it. But for those of you who have been single a long time and you enjoy your singlehoodness, you know that the longer you're single, the better you like it. We get set in our ways for sure. So I had gotten set in my ways, and as I said, I dated many, many, many wonderful men, and was perfectly happy being alone, being by myself with my friends. So, I didn't marry those years because of her. I sort of figured that she was not an accident; she was planned, and I wanted to give her the best life I could. And it's been trying at times because we all go through those teenage years and those years when they know more than we do. And she always wanted piercings and tattoos in high school because that's when all of that was coming into its own, and her friends were getting all of that stuff. And I just put my foot down and refused and showed her the door. Finally, one day I had to show her the door and tell her, if you can do it, but only if you're on your own. You're not going to live in my house and do it. And that sort of stopped it. And when she was about 22 or 23, we were having lunch one day, and she told me, she said, "Mom, I need to tell you something." I said, "Okay, what?" I thought it was something bad. And she said, "You are the meanest mother I ever knew, and I thank you for that." So I guess that made it all worthwhile because she's turned out very proud of her, very proud of her. So she has had opportunities to be in front of the camera, and she's turned them down. She was on the TV show many years ago. Do you remember The Weakest Link? They were in Little Rock doing auditions, and she had never even seen the show. All of her friends were going down to try out for it, and they convinced her to go with them. She got down there, and they literally asked her to fill out the paperwork. I don't know what it was. She was not even going to do the paperwork. She filled out the paperwork. They had to explain the rules to her so that she could play the mock game because she had never even seen the game on television. She played the game. She won it. About 2 weeks later, she received a call from them that they wanted her to be on the show. So a few weeks later, she was on the show. She did not win, but she actually earned more money than anybody and answered more questions. But that show was one of the shows where it was always sort of the guys versus the girls, and she was the last girl on, and then the guys plotted against her. So the show actually contacted her and asked her to be on it again, and she refused it. So she has had opportunities to be in front of the camera and just has always turned them down. She is an individual like me. Not like me, because even more so than in my younger days, she is on the board of various nonprofits and does a tremendous amount of fundraising. She's a giver. She is always giving. I could do a video just on her. I'm so proud of her. I'll just stop there. So those are answers. I hope I've answered most of your questions. And, if you have any others, continue to ask. And I might do another answers video. Who knows? Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.